Look at this rock relief of a Sassanid king. In the 4th century, the Persian monarchy projected absolute divine authority rooted in Zoroastrianism. Because their Roman rivals had recently embraced Christianity, Persian rulers viewed any Christian within their borders as a hostile agent of a foreign power. Into this tense political climate, a crisis struck the royal household. Shiraran, a prominent royal woman, fell terminally ill. The court summoned the most elite Zoroastrian magi, the state's highest spiritual authorities, but their rituals and remedies completely failed to cure her. Desperate, the court permitted a clandestine visit from Bar Shaba, a Christian physician. Using a combination of advanced foreign medical knowledge and intense prayer, he did what the magi could not. He saved her life. Surviving a terminal illness often changes a person, but Shiraran took a step that crossed a dangerous political red line. She openly converted to Christianity and began publicly testifying to the royal court about her healing. By publicly rejecting the state religion, a prominent member of the royal family committed an act of political treason. Her actions directly threatened the ideological foundation of the entire Persian Empire. King Shapur retaliated. To silence her without executing a royal family member, he married Shiraran off to the governor of Merv. This forced her into exile, pushing her far east into the punishing isolation of the Karakum Desert, pictured here. But this punishment backfired. Though Merv was remote from the capital, this map shows it sat on a sprawling knot of the Silk Road. It was a massive commercial hub where trade routes branched towards Central Asia and China. Instead of fading into obscurity, Shiraran used her new status as the governor's wife to launch a counteroffensive. She ordered the construction of the very first Christian church in Merv. Because local architects had no idea how to build a Roman basilica, she gave them a brilliant instruction: model the church on the exact floor plan of the Persian royal palace. She even named it Ctesiphon, after the Persian capital. By disguising her faith within native Persian architecture, she bypassed local suspicion. She created a template for cultural adaptation that would allow her religion to thrive deep inside hostile territory. Shiraran needed political cover to operate. She secured a silent agreement with her husband, the regional governor, who tolerated her activities and shielded her congregation from the state's Zoroastrian enforcers. With a physical sanctuary built and a political shield in place, she moved to establish intellectual roots. She officially petitioned the king to send Bar Shaba to Merv, bringing with him ordained priests, liturgical texts, and the resources to establish formal theological schools. We know this community operated openly because of the archaeological record. These are the massive mud brick citadel walls of Gayer Kala. Excavations reveal early Christian structures, including a large monastery, were built securely within these primary defensive walls, fully integrated into the city's daily life. Back inside the governor's estate, Shiraran turned her own royal quarters into a makeshift seminary. She spent her days teaching Syriac and Persian scriptures to her children and her personal mates. She operated as a shadow governor. By leveraging the state's infrastructure and her own royal privilege, she normalized a banned religion right under the nose of the Persian Empire. Her groundwork triggered an immediate demographic shift. Merv was home to Greek descendants who had settled there during Alexander the Great's conquests. After encountering Shiraran's teachings, large groups of them began abandoning centuries of Hellenistic idolatry to convert to her faith. Then came an even greater ideological victory. The Zoroastrian Magi, members of the exact same priestly class that had failed to heal her back in the capital, began requesting baptism. This rapid growth was cemented by a powerful local legend. When Bar Shaba died, the community claimed he resurrected after 4 days in his tomb. Whether literal or symbolic, the story electrified the region, solidifying the faith of the new converts and driving massive church attendance. In less than a generation, a remote exile colony became a teeming spiritual powerhouse. The demographic makeup of the city had permanently shifted. The broader church quickly recognized what Shiraran had built. Looking at the sheer scale of Merv's ruined infrastructure today, it's easy to see why it was elevated to a metropolitan see. This status granted Merv administrative independence, allowing it to train, ordain, and dispatch its own bishops without waiting for approval from the West. To spread the message outward, these newly minted bishops partnered with Sogdian merchants. Traveling along punishing mountain roads like this one, monks embedded themselves within merchant caravans. They operated as business missionaries, carrying their faith alongside silk and spices. These Merv-trained monks applied the exact cultural strategy Shiraran had pioneered. They translated complex Syriac theology into local Sogdian and Turkic dialects, offering literacy, medical care, and technological expertise to nomadic tribal armies in exchange for their ears. By marrying deep religious conviction with local culture and practical commerce, they deployed the exact blueprint designed in Merv. It was a strategy perfectly engineered to conquer the vast Eurasian steppes. By the 7th century, this eastward push reached its ultimate destination, Chang'an, the glittering capital of Tang Dynasty China. There, the Chinese emperor formally welcomed the monks and their faith, which became known as the Luminous Religion. We have physical proof of this incredible continental journey. This is the Nestorian Stele, an official stone monument erected by the Chinese court in 781 to record the arrival and spread of the Christian church in China. Read the text carved into the stone, and you'll find the monks explaining their theology using familiar Taoist and Buddhist terminology, referring to God as the true Lord and the Holy Spirit as the pure wind. Look closely at the top of the stele. A traditional Christian cross sits completely integrated above traditional Chinese characters. The continent-spanning success of the Church of the East was no accident of trade. It was the direct result of a royal woman in Merv who realized that for a rigid Western faith to survive, it had to learn how to speak the language of the East.